guys. Is it me? Is it a me problem? The last 4 arcs that I have tried to read, I've had to DNF to, and I haven't liked to. And one of the next arcs that I have to read is the new Sarah McLean book, and I swear, if that one is also not good, I'm gonna cry. I'm actually going to cry. Anyways, that gives you a little bit of a flavor of where today is going. Unlike last week when I got super duper ranty about Lacey Walden's new book From the Jump, which you can go watch, I don't have that strong feelings about this one, but I have some issues. All right, so today we are talking about The Fixer Upper, which is a debut novel from author Lauren Forsythe. This is the story predominantly of Allie. Allie is currently working at a graphic design business, trying to become manager. However, she's often stuck in the role of helping her other colleagues, most of them male, who aren't good at their jobs, fixing their mistakes, helping them out. She's the go-to fixer for her boss, and that's also how she is in the rest of her life. She dates guys who are more project than they are partner, and she just is trying to fix her mother's life. Her parents got divorced, but then her father remarried and took on Allie's mom as a mistress. So as much as she is good at fixing things in her life are a mess. And that is where our story kind of starts. Allie is off kind of talking about her life with her 2 best friends, Eric and Tola. And Eric and Tola decide to do like an informal survey where they go back and they look at Allie's past boyfriends and see if they are fixed or, have moved on from whatever they needed Allie's help with when they were dating. And they find that all of them are better off than they were before. So they make this joke to Allie. They're like, we should start a business called The Fixer Upper, where we help women fix their partners essentially, or do stuff for relationships like Allie did for those guys. They decide to jokingly start to do it. They start helping out women with their partners. They build up a whole website, and their first major client comes along. Her name is Nikki. She is a massive, millions of followers influencer on Instagram, and she wants to get her boyfriend to a couple of things. She wants him to propose, she wants him to be more involved in her influencer life, and she's on a deadline because she has been contacted by a reality TV show that does weddings, and so she needs her partner to propose. Allie, Tola, and Eric originally decline, and then Allie's dad tells her mom that he's going to sell the house out from under her unless Allie can buy him out. So Allie decides to take on this crazy project. The wrinkle. Nikki's boyfriend is Dylan, who in high school, for most of their life up until then, was Allie's best friend. They had a massive falling out, they haven't spoken in decades, and now here he is on the arm of this gorgeous influencer. He is working at a tech startup that he is the founder of, and he and Allie don't get along. I probably could have done that in like a more concise way, but I think one of the things about this book, and this is not something that I often say, but it's that there's a lot going on. And while that is normally a positive sign for me, I think one of the things right away that happens with this book is that not enough of everything that is brought to the table is dealt with in an adequate or at least equitable way. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on with Allie and her mom and her dad, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on with Eric and Tola. More minimal, but it gets larger as it goes on. There's the stuff going on with Nikki, there's the stuff with Dylan, and then there is just the fact that Allie has her own stuff going on at her job. She really wants this promotion. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and it just kind of feels like while these things are important to some of the plot beats, they don't always get fleshed out in the way that they could have been to be more satisfying. That was one thing off the bat I just felt as I was reading throughout the book. So one of my major things with this book is that Allie and Dylan are our ship, but Dylan is dating Nikki. And I thought that perhaps that would resolve earlier than it does in the book. If that is a big sticking point for you, you will not want to read this. I will say that there is no cheating in this book. It is actually a clean romance, so it is very slow burn in that sense, but that made me uncomfortable. I do think that Forsythe does a really good job in this of what Allie and Dylan are really fixing for most of this is their friendship. There's this really great line about how a friendship that goes on that long, it's like an echo in your bones, and you know, they're really just, it was a miscommunication that caused the fact that they haven't spoken in a while. But the thing is that it's a romance novel, and even if the book is making great pains to say what they're fixing is their friendship, you know that that's not what's happening, and you know, because it's a romance novel, eventually they'll end up together. And the longer it dragged on, the more uncomfortable I felt, because there was clearly something going on between Allie and Dylan. Dylan clearly was unhappy with Nikki. Nikki was unhappy with Dylan. That's why she had come to Allie in the first place. That did not feel great to me. And again, I don't think Lauren Forsythe did that in a poor manner. I just personally was not a fan. This book really is more about Allie coming to terms with herself and where she is in life and how she handles certain things. I really did enjoy, I don't want to spoil too much, but the original concept behind Fixer Upper leads both her and Tola and Eric down a path of like a little bit more self-discovery about things that they could be doing to be more empowering in these relationships that they're being asked to help people out with, and more empowering to themselves, which I really enjoyed, because also the concept of Fixer Upper, when it started, I was like, ugh, am I supposed to be like happy they're doing this? But that also resolves itself neatly. But honestly, I got to the point where in the end, there had been such a journey that had been gone on that the happy ending, which it has, just kind of felt tacked on to the end. And I was like, oh, okay, we were going somewhere, I think, really powerful, and then because it's a romance novel and it has to wrap up in a certain way, we're just gonna really quickly tie it off in a bow. As much as I know this is a romance novel and it has the necessity of that happy ending, it just felt tonally off to this novel. There was just something off about this whole book to me, whether it was the different plot lines that got uneven shrift, whether it was Allie and Dylan being a couple we were supposed to ship, despite the fact that Dylan was dating someone else and claimed to love her, and then, you know, the ending. So for me, it was just a really, really rocky reading experience. I think it had a lot of really promising elements, but it just didn't work for me. I think with that said, that it had enough promising elements that, you know, Lauren Forsythe's next book, I won't see her name and go, no, I'm not going to read that. I think that there is definitely something very promising here. Lauren Forsythe as an author really does care about something that I care a lot about, which is making sure there's more stuff going on than just the romance, which was great. And as a debut, potentially, I always have faith that the author will do better next time. So I consider this a book that says maybe check out the next one, but in terms of this, it just didn't come together for me. It is clearly setting up something with Tola for the next book. Something towards the end comes out of nowhere about Tola's relationship with this other woman who you have not heard about up until now. And I think it's supposed to be like the reveal of like what's underneath Tola's personality, but it feels like it comes out of nowhere and is like never addressed again. So it's clearly setting up, like I said, a second book that sounds like it has a very interesting, involved, I'm not sure if it's second chance or exactly what's going on there plot for Tola, who I loved as a character. And so I'm really hopeful that if I'm right about that being a setup, because otherwise I don't know why it would be there, I'm excited for that book. You may enjoy this as a light, breezy read. Get it from your local library if you're not sure. Otherwise, I might wait until Tola's book comes out and then decide if you want to go backward or not. I just really want to read something good, guys. Like, not that was okay, not oh that was fine. Like, I want to read something like I would even do 4-star worthy. I'm having such a hard time right now. And I don't know if it's just because I'm in a period where I'm supposed to be reading a lot of arcs back to back and that's taking some of the joy out of it, or what. But I'm not finding something that's making me click right now. I have an arc review coming out a little bit later on this month about last book in a series I really liked that also, I read that a couple of weeks ago and it didn't do it for me, and I'm just like, I'm struggling. So if you've made it this far, please feel free to leave down in the comments what was the last book that you read that you really enjoyed, and maybe I can head that way for a bit for a break. But yeah, this book was a thing, made me a little uncomfortable, but I'll read the next one because I think that there's definitely something to the author, just not this story for me. So with that, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.